Hey gamers, out in the barn doing a little cleanup. Thought I'd go through the boat real quick and give a little tour. It's a 2018 Skeeter FX21. Bought it used last year, about a year ago. Only had 60 hours on it. It's a year of warranty left. I was actually looking at new ones, possibly a Phoenix or a Skeeter. They had this one on trade-in right before we got there. They pulled it out. The wife liked it, and we decided to go with it. But anyway, it's excellent shape. So I just wanted to go through pros and cons of it since I've had it for about a year now. Prior to this boat, I had a Triton TR21. Had it for 23 years, as a year 2000. Really loved the boat. But you know, after 23 years, it's time for a new one, or a different one, newer one. So anyway, I want to hit some mechanical stuff real quick that I just went through. That's fresh on my mind. A lot of other things is just preferential to the individual. You know, whether it's two center rod or center boxes up front versus one, that sort of thing is just kind of preference at that point. But a couple mechanical things I want to point out that I just went through. I had a port recirculating live well pump go out on me. So in the process of getting that fixed, learned a couple things. That Triton I had, and then some other newer boats, they have the way those recirculating pumps are set up is a little bit different and possibly a little bit better. So if there's like something I'd change on the Skeeter, this would be one of them. The Skeeter has a fill pump, both port, starboard. It's got recirculating pump, both port and starboard, and it's got one pump out. The pump out is the same pump as the recirculating port pump. So that one pump serves two purposes. Now, which is fine. The only thing I really use the pump out for is to fill a live weigh-in bag. But anyway, what I did learn in the process is the way this is set up. Let me show you the rod box. Or not the rod box, the live well. But if you can kind of see in there, the drain is right there on the very bottom. And that goes right to the recirculating pump too. So as you can imagine, and what happened is all the debris, crawdad parts, little bait fish parts, everything drains down in there and gets right down in there, right where the recirculating pumps can be. So when they pulled that old pump that wasn't any good, the head of it, the guy stuck his finger up in the line, and it was just full of sludge. So it wasn't clogged, but I mean, it was just really filthy with river bottom. I do fish the rivers a lot, Ohio River. So, it's just not the cleanest water in the world by any means. So, and now what I kind of recall back to this Triton is that the intake for the recirculating pump was kind of raised up off of the bottom slightly. And in those particular boats, the actual drain was a plug that you just pull out, and water would just, by gravity, drain on out at the lowest point of the live well. It was a little indented down there where that little pull plug was. So let me look back in here. But if you can see where that oxygenator piece is right there, that's about where the recirculating intake was. It wasn't in the very bottom of it like that. So I don't know, a little, minor, maybe not so minor. I don't know if that's what caused the port pump to stop, but I know they all just burn out over time. But anyway, I like the setup of, that intake being up slightly off the bottom, so it's not getting all that garbage and, sediment getting sucked into it. That would normally just drain out the bottom. But anyway, that's just one little thing. I'll climb back here to the battery compartment. So as they were get into that pump, you know, I'll take a peek in there. You can see, you know, the hoses here, recirculating pump, you know, where it shoots back in, the live well, it fills and so forth. But that pump was, I don't know if you can see this, but this is the live well. It was way up under there. So the tech had to reach, and it had to be pretty flexible and reach way up on the underside of that live well, up under there, to get to that pump. And, you know, obviously he knows what he's doing, knows which way to turn it and that sort of stuff. He made it look easy, but, you know, for somebody that's not doing that every day, or maybe not as flexible or agile, it just, you know, it just makes it more difficult. So, you know, the access to the pumps in the back here, you know, to me is pretty critical. I've changed one out on that Triton before, and, you know, I did it myself. It was pretty easy. It was easy to get to. So, yeah, I think, again, yeah, that's another point if you're looking at boats. Yes, something to think about. You know, those sort of things do go out occasionally. You know, it's not the most expensive thing in the world, but, you know, if you can do it yourself, you can save a lot of money. You know, for me to get that replaced and for them to do it was like 80 bucks. And then of course the time and drive up there, you know, it wasn't far, but, you know, if your dealer's not very close, you know, it can turn into a big deal. Another thing I did is, you know, I had to change the battery, the starting battery, not a big deal. But again, you know, if you're looking at used boats, you know, the access to the battery is a big deal. You know, again, looking in here, the battery lid here, you know, it doesn't go all the way across. You know, kind of, it's more centered. So, for example, right now, you know, if one of these batteries, these trolling motor batteries, if that outside one goes out, you know, I got to move this inside one to get to it. So, you know, obviously, you know, most of the time you change all the trolling motor batteries at the same time, but you may have one go out, you know, go bad. Yeah, not a big deal again, but yeah, just one of those little things. And over here, you know, I probably could reposition those, that starting battery, and put it back over where that other trolling motor battery is. It's a 36 volt circuit. But for example, right now, since that's a brand new starting battery, if I go to change the trolling motor batteries, that starting battery has to come out too. And again, these are AGM batteries, kind of heavy. You know, if I went with lithium, it's not as big of a deal. But still, you got to disconnect everything. So yeah, just a couple mechanical things. It's kind of a convenience type factor. Just want to point those things out. I mean, overall with the Skeeter, I really love the boat. I love the ride. People complain about the porpoising. It did take me a little bit to get used to that, but you know, once you keep that motor trimmed down, you're fine. Another thing, the compartments, no carpet, just smooth. Don't have to worry about getting wet in there and not algae, but mold growing. Going up to the front, it's got the, again, no carpet. It's got the, in the front, no rod tubes. Triton had rod tubes. I really liked that at first, but now I'm fishing with my kids. They're 12 and 14. We have a lot more rods. I mean, we only got 15 in here right now, but we usually carry a few more. You know, that opening there, we get 15 more in here, easy. So I like that factor, or that. Now the Triton had two compartments up here in the center. I like that because I could divide up things, but now that it's just, I got used to this, I really like this. It's just a matter of what you get used to, what you like. I got 14 planos in here. The previous owner had these, I don't know who makes it, but these organizers that run the whole length. It makes it nice to put things in. You know, bags of worms and stuff over here. But yeah, like I said, I got 14 of these in. You know, some frog boxes up there, some other trays. Holds a good amount, as much as most people need. Over here, live vest. I do have my anchor up here. I probably should have it in the back, but I don't. But anyway, the day box here. Yeah, this is pretty slick. Just got the stuff I use all the time. Love my red bug, A-game red bug. But let's close everything up. Oh, it's got the net holder right there in the front, or underneath the lid. Really like that. Keeps it out of the way. But yeah, one other thing I like about the deck is, it's a FX21, so it is a big boat. But these rods anymore, they're 7 foot, 7.5 foot rods. On the driver's side, on the starboard side, every boat, you can run the rods up here next to the console and the tips are protected. Not so much over here on the port side, but with the dual console, it's set up where the rod tips aren't hanging off the edge of the rod lid. And I do like the dual console for that reason. And plus with the kids, like I said, it helps protect them a little bit from the elements. Now, one thing sounds kind of silly, but I really like is the center, or the cooler being here between the seats. Just idling through a no wake zone. You just open it up, grab your drink, grab your sandwiches that need to stay cold, whatever. Very handy. The ones that have the cooler in the step, yeah, it's a nice spot for it, but every one I've seen, and like the Triton I had, you do got to kind of come up out of your seat, get up on your knees, or walk up to it, take a step up to it. Again, not that big of a deal, but I have found this very nice being between the seats. And then with the dual console, having the glove box there, throw the wallet in, keys, sunglasses, fishing gloves, what have you. Snacks, we keep our snacks in there, granola bars. If you do carry, you can put one in, carry your piece in there. But yeah, it's some little things like that that kind of helps the day go by better. Now, one thing I was a little concerned about with the Skeeter, and some of the other boats have this too, is the electronic control panel. I do like just the knobs. In the 23 years I had that Triton, I only had one knob go bad on it. And if it does go bad during the day, you can easily pull the panel and swap it out with another wires for other knobs that say that you're not using. But I'm not sure what you could do with this, if you could do that during the day or not. I don't think so. But it does have the switch here for the live well, open and close. This one doesn't have the remote drain plug. Not a big deal to me. I'm fortunately agile enough to bend down there and get to it. One of these days maybe I'll get if I still have the boat, go ahead and get the remote one plug put in. It's not a big deal to put them in. The spot here is for a trash can really, but I use it for to keep my tie ropes. Throw extra caps in. Got the old hound dog floor knocker in here. And some sunscreen and stuff. We do throw a line and stuff in there if we got a big bird's nest we got to cut out and stuff like that. That's the roller board. That's a handy spot there. But yeah, again, really like the boat. Rides super well. The power poles, I fish the river quite a bit, shallow water. I've used them pretty much just to anchor to the dock, kind of waiting for blast off, or when I come in to tie up to come out. Occasionally we'll put them down to really fish the spot real thoroughly. But I haven't used them as much as I thought. One thing I really do like is that light right there on top. So I don't have to put the pole in the morning blast off. Yeah, that anchor light comes on right there. So I don't have to mess with the pole in there. I can just use my Yellow Tech pole in there if I want to do some filming. But yeah, other than that, let me climb off of here real quick. Yeah, the Yamaha's been doing good, knock on wood. I say that, something may happen, but do really like the boat. It rides good. Like I said, people complain about porpoising, but I think that's the driver. Keep that motor tucked down all the way and shouldn't have any trouble with that. You know, punch it, get up on plane, just keep it trimmed down. And we have a lake that we fish a lot that's 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. Yeah, I'm going about 2,600 RPM and about 30 to 32 miles an hour without any porpoising. No problem at all. If anybody needs to go slower than that, I'm not sure what the deal is, but usually much faster than that in most lakes. But got the low profile tires, the bigger rims. I'm not too big of a fan of that. I mean, it looks kind of cool, but you will scuff those rims up sometimes in tight spots. We got one over here. Actually, I took the spare off of it. I got to get a new tire for this. It scuffed the rim down here, and it's got a bad spot in the tire. It's got a few scuffs on it. Previous owner did some, but I did get a bad spot on the tire. I got to get fixed, or not get fixed, just get a new tire for. But the one thing I didn't have that I really like is these bow steps. I don't have the pole for it, but don't really need it. I can just step up there, grab the trolling motor, help balance myself, and get on up there. But those are, that's one of the best inventions ever to, especially if you fish by yourself. Really like that. I'm not going to get into trolling motors or mechanical, that sort of stuff. I mean, those are all, everybody has their favorite for that. But yeah, those are the main things. I mean, a couple of minor things I'd change. I will say that the new Skeeters too, they got the lid that goes all the way across. I think it's divided in the middle, and you can just do half, open half, and then open the other half if you want to. And that opens up the whole battery, section and battery charger, and then the pumps for the power poles. So, they did fix that or not fix it, but improve it on the newer models. So that shouldn't be an issue, but they still do have the pump set up like I was talking about earlier. Hydraulic jack plate, fish in the river. I do like that a lot. I do raise that up to get through some shallow areas. Trying to think if there's anything else. Just going around. I think that's about it. But again, I like the Skeeter a lot. I wouldn't have had any trouble going to another Skeeter. Triton. I almost got a Phoenix, but like I said, they had this one used, very low hours on it, and dual console, which we're kind of looking for, and color scheme that I was kind of wanting to get back to a darker boat, but with some silver on it, and it just kind of seemed to fall in place for us, and we just went with it. When your missus is there with you and she likes it and gives you the head nod, you gotta go with it. So again, A-Game Custom Lures. Check us out online, agamecl.square.site. Check out our lures. We have some new products coming out. Just started making drop shot worms, 5.5 or 5 1/4 inch, similar to a robo worm. Check those out. We got some Ned baits out there, and what else? We got some new craws. We got 2 style of craws on the site now. Finesse worms, stick baits, frogs. We have quite a variety out there now. We're getting close to, we're approaching 20 different lure types, 20 different molds. So check us out when you get a chance, and we'll see you out on the water. Catch you later.